So here's project 2. This will be parts 1 and 2. This is the simple line tracker, and then also a counter is part 2. First I'll explain kind of how it was built and everything, and why I did it, why I used what I used, and then we'll go through parts 1 and 2. So here's our second generation build for our second part of our project, or second project. Went with the smallest possible, probably looking at like 4 inches wide for the tighter track, so we definitely went a lot smaller than our last one. We went with the side to side and forward wheel in the front so it can spin kind of like a 0 turning radius. Still go forward, also can go side to side with no problem. Went with a simple gear reduction, going up on the gear. I think from I think it's a 20 to a 40 or 20 to like a 36. Went with the smaller wheels because we are not going over any terrain, staying on just a flat board, so it does sit pretty low there. Did a lot more compact design. The battery is mounted underneath of the Arduino. Tried to do a somewhat wire harness here coming down. Got our battery connector mounted, easy disconnect. We have a front and rear support, so it's pretty simple, nothing really in the middle though. Our sensors are on the bottom, the 3 of our line tracker sensors, so we try to keep it on the middle one. If it jumps on one of these 2, we correct it by going left and right with our motors. Motors are direct drive right into our first gear. No clutch, no anything like that. Didn't need it with the smaller wheels. And as you can see, we went with a single frame rail. So yes, these wheels do have a little bit of play because you can only get so much tolerance out of these couplings. But for being on flat surface ground, and we are going very slow to make sure these keep up, so it shouldn't be a problem. Yep, and then our display is obviously very easy get to, up on the top. So overall the design worked pretty good. We ran through a few test runs and it seemed to turn very nicely and stay on track good, and it was small enough to get around the track with no problem. So here's like one of the pictures of it. Pretty simple design, as we explained before. Next video is going to be it driving on its own. It's just the going around the track, basically line trackers only. So this is the part 1 of the project, and it displays the left, right, and center values as you'll see on the LCD. Alright, so that was part 1. Here's part 2, which is identical. except now on the screen, instead of saying AAC Mechatronics on the top rung or top row of the LCD, it'll now display every time it crosses a cross line. It'll count up one, and we'll do that until we get to the fourth one, and it's programmed to where it gets to number 4. It stops the motors, basically stops the program, and I have the motors on a delay for a certain time because it is in a loop. And here's some like kind of blooper of when it didn't run too good, when the line tracking just wasn't picking up for some reason. Kind of just went dead straight. Didn't really see a line. So here's just some of the programming. This is mainly for the line tracking. I'm showing here that basically left value, center value, right value, if they are all above 750, if they're all black, that's when it'll count a line for the second part. If not, if it's one's less, the right's less, center's less, blah blah, then the corresponding motors will make that adjustment to basically keep it on the center line. And the SPD, I did a function up at the top, so it's the same speed, so I didn't have to keep overwriting it, and I can adjust it just one time at the top. That's kind of a nice feature. And there's just a bunch of if and else if statements. Basically, if it isn't crossing the line, then else it's got to be off on the center, the right, or the left, and that's pretty much it.